This is the Insta360 X5 action camera, marketed by Insta360 as the ultimate all-in-one camera. It's been out for over a year, and for much of that year I have been using it in many different situations. It truly is a great camera, but the world of 360 video can be very different to normal flat format cameras. So, is this type of camera for you? Because the two biggest criticisms I hear of 360 cameras are that you always have to look like you're swimming in a fishbowl and that it takes hours to extract and edit anything before you can make use of it. Is that true? Well, in a nutshell, no and no. The X5 can take excellent video and pictures that aren't warped, and it can be wirelessly transferred to your phone and uploaded to social media without any editing at all, if that's what you want. Once you understand some basic functions, it's easy to get the very best out of them, and they really are, I think, a brilliant addition to your kit. Is this truly the all-in-one camera? Well, that is what I am talking about today. Hello, I'm Ian, and whilst I do play with plenty of drones, I also use a fair few cameras to capture the world around me on my travels. And until this came along, all of those cameras were the same standard flat format video type, like the Osmo Pocket series, the Osmo Action, and even my trusty old Samsung Ultra. But over the last year, I've had great fun with my first 360 camera, using it when traveling abroad, or when I'm up mountains, or just out walking the dogs. It is a tough, rugged camera that really does capture photos and videos in loads of different styles. The X5 has got truckloads of different shooting options to produce wildly different styles of video, including a fair few that need no extraction or editing at all. So look, before I jump in, as ever, please do me that usual favour, hit the thumb up button if you like this video, because it really does help the algorithm a lot, and these videos do take a lot of work, so I really always do appreciate it. But look, we digress. Back to the X5, and perhaps the single biggest advantage of a 360 camera is the basic fact that in 360 mode, it is literally capturing everything around you without having to worry that you're pointing the camera in the right direction. Knowing that with just a few clicks in editing afterwards, you can get the exact view and perspective that you wanted. This was the biggest thing to get my head around when I first started using the camera. Just switch on and film and adjust the view later. So I said it's got the all-in-one camera label, and it is fair to say that it has got a fair few different shooting modes that cover pretty much any scenario that you might be wanting to capture. So let's dive into the basics. It's dual 1/1.28 inch 8K sensors, how it actually captures absolutely everything around it in full 360 mode. Or in single lens mode, giving you a flat, ready to view standard MP4 video in 4K. Now, a key point, of course, is your choice of 360 or single lens flat mode. Filming in single lens mode will give you standard MP4 video straight out of the camera, and it won't need framing or any further editing unless you want to do that. Crucially though, you also have these on-screen options to adjust the field of view, which will reduce or increase image distortion and to get a true regular flat video image. Now, if you are filming in 360 mode, then you're going to get their proprietary INSV 360 file that has to be extracted and edited in either the Insta360 app on your phone or in their Insta Studio on your desktop or laptop, which I will come back to later. There's also, though, a very good hybrid option that gives you the best of both worlds at the same time. The InstaFrame 2.0 mode captures both a flat normal video, but it also captures a full 360-degree video at the same time. You also have a lower light mode called Pure Video that still lets you capture full 360 video in 8K, but fine-tunes things to reduce the noise and boost the lower light parts of the video, giving you way better low light video. I do kind of have to say though, I wish their names for these modes were a little bit more intuitive. The word InstaFrame doesn't really convey flat video any more than the word pure video implies great low light performance. So you kind of have to remember what all these different mode names actually do when you're selecting them. And the X5 has pretty much got two main modes, video and photo, but it then has a load of other modes, some more useful than others, and they're not always intuitively named. Small criticism I know in the grand scheme of things, but look, why don't I cover some of those other modes now quite quickly. So, alongside video mode, you have got good old time-lapse, perfectly named, always great for producing great little video clips of things speeded up. Like any time-lapse camera, it takes a frame every few seconds, then stitches them together to give you a short time-lapse video of whatever it is you filmed over the course of a few minutes or hours. You also have a similar mode called time shift, which is similar to time lapse, but it's more for moving the camera. So you get this cool fast action style video as you're walking or driving or doing whatever. Another mode that is more fun, I think, than useful is their bullet time mode, where you use the right angled stick. So this is the bullet. So it's got a little handle like that, and you swing the camera around you to get a full 360 view of yourself with the camera rotating around you. Again, look, I get that this is from the Matrix where Neo is dodging the bullets, but they could have come up with a more intuitive name, I think, than this mode. So whilst it's good fun, I think it is also pretty limited, as you do look a bit of a donkey when you're filming it, and of course your hand is always up in the air in whatever video clip that you end up with. But look, like I said, it's another mode to have some fun with. There are a couple of auto looping modes as well. One is called loop mode, so that was a good name, and the other is road mode. They let you start the camera recording, but you can also define the length of the loop to record, after which it just overwrites the beginning and you get this continuous looping function. So it's really good for when you're trying to capture something when you don't actually know when it's going to happen, maybe like flashes of lightning or something. And finally, you also have the new star lapse mode for automatically creating nighttime star shots over the course of an hour or so. Similar to time lapse, but all the parameters are automatically set for capturing nighttime views, which again, brilliant stuff and really lovely extra mode. So, as you can see, there are a few video modes there, but in truth, I found myself just using the main video mode in either 360 or single lens mode the most, unless there was a specific scenario that called for one of those other more specialized modes. Likewise, for the still photo modes, there's the main simple photo mode where you can choose a 72 megapixel 360 degree still or a 16 megapixel single lens mode, along with different picture aspects from 1.1 square right down to 2.35 to 1, the super widescreen. But again, when using the single lens options, you have the great de-warp functions that alter the perspective and the field of view, making sure that you don't end up with that big nose distorted selfie. Like I said, very subtle little control, but really, really crucial to get the right shot you want. Now, as mentioned, stills and video taken in 360 mode have got the huge advantage of being able to be perfectly framed exactly as you want them. But then, of course, you do have the downside, or the payback if you like, that when you're only taking a section of that 8K sphere of resolution, you're going to end up with a video or a still shot that has got less resolution. Thankfully, though, there are a big choice of how you actually frame and extract things. I have to say, fair play to Insta360. They really have made the editing task as easy or as complex as you want it to be. Whether or not you use the desktop studio or the truly comprehensive app on your phone, you will be able to extract, frame and output stuff very, very easily. Now, starting off keeping it as simple as possible, you can literally tag the clips that you want to make use of and then let the AI editing template do its thing, automatically grabbing what it thinks are the best bits out of each video clip and producing a video clip with transitions and music for you with hardly any input from yourself, which is great for a quick update to your friends, but it's also easy to edit the view on any clips if you still want to do a little bit of editing and change the perspectives. But you can also easily trim and change views as you would on a normal MP4 edit anyway. The only thing that is extra for 360 video is that you have to keep clicking the keyframe button to keep marking the view or perspective that you want to keep as you work your way through the edit. And as you work your way through, the software will automatically make a nice soft transition between each of the keyframe views. Look, I don't want to get too bogged down in editing because A, frankly, there are so many different ways to approach it, and B, you can make it as quick or as simple or as slow or as precise as you want. The point I want to make is that apart from getting used to clicking keyframes every so often to lock the view in, it is pretty much like editing normal video. You just have to keep choosing what you think is the best view of the world that was around you whilst you were recording. So look, finally, last thing probably I want to touch on was the incredible list of accessories that can adapt and hold the camera in pretty much any location or situation are manageable. Again, wading through everything and working out what's truly useful can actually be half the battle. Leaving aside the obvious various adapters and clips for fixing it onto your bike or car mounts, for me, the most useful accessory was the very simple selfie stick. Nice, lightweight, packs up small, goes up to about 1 meter, and it magically disappears in the resulting 360 video. Now, another brilliant stick is the very long but lightweight 3 meter extended selfie stick. Now, using this requires you to throw all inhibition out of the window as you walk around with the camera towering above you. But you can use this in a variety of situations, not least where you want that drone shot, but you cannot fly a drone. Now, this was a cool little clip I captured in the Grand Plus in Brussels, where drones are absolutely a non-starter. But it's also great for just hanging off bridges or just getting very, very different perspectives as you walk along. Again, it magically disappears in the resulting video, and it lets you appear that you've got that really cool shot with changing heights and perspective without ever going near a drone. Now, another great addition is the Mic Air that gives perfect audio when using this as a selfie vlogging camera. Now, of course, this camera is the perfect vlogger's camera because it has got the perfect field of view. And of course, perhaps the most useful accessory is the replacement lens kit for you to change a scratched or cracked lens whilst you are out and about. Look, sadly, reality is these lenses do stick out. They're very easy to scratch or crack if you drop them on the ground. So it is great to have a replacement lens on hand to keep on going. And of course, as you'd expect, I have got a link to get a free replacement lens kit if you click through that link to Insta360 when you're buying this camera. So, is this truly the all-in-one camera? Well, look, my honest opinion is pretty much nearly yes. It really is an incredible, versatile camera. Being able to shoot both 360 and ready-to-use MP4 flat 4K video is great. The main video modes give you great results in almost every situation. And unlike normal action cams, you don't need to worry about its positioning and pointing in the right direction when you jump out of that plane or whatever it is you're doing. It is tough, it's small, it's waterproof, it's got a good battery, and as ever, the best camera, I think, is the one that's with you when you need it. And this is small enough to slip into any pocket and take anywhere. For me, its only real limitation is the field of view. There is no zoom, of course, and even with the narrowest of fields of views, it's not going to be distorted or fisheye, but nothing except yourself is going to be close, which of course is why it's so good for videoing and taking pictures of yourself and vlogging, as I said. But for me, as I said, the limitation is that good landscape photography, it's not going to be as good. And for that, I would always want a DSLR with me. But other than that, it pretty much is the all-in-one camera. Right, look, gone on a fair bit, but look, hopefully this has been useful, especially if you have not ever dipped your toe into the world of 360 cameras. Again, hit the like to help me out and let me know your thoughts below in the comments below. But look, either way, until next time, have fun with whatever camera you're using. Cheers.